many more classes after this before the presentation?
Yeah,
Two?
Oh, wow.
Huh?
It's coming up quick.
It's like two, is it?
I think it's 2 or 3.
Can you check?
Yeah.
See? After today. That's why the more feedback I can give you, you understand? And then that way,
Yeah.
once you give your presentation, hopefully, hey, I'm almost finished with the project. I don't have to, you know what I mean? That's my goal. You know, there'll be just some tweaks and things that you have to do.
Dr. today,
Yeah.
the alarm is making beeping noises. It says hold down buttons for fire alarm.
What?
It's saying to hold down a button for the fire alarm. It's beeping.
So
I don't know if we should call someone about that.
you can call, if you want to, you can call, that 17, I guess you can call, the help desk. You know, for the alarm. Is there somebody in next door? Do they man next door?
I don't know. Let's see.
They're opening?
No, I doubt it. It's a physical asking store. It's
Is
just
it?
busy.
Yeah. So what does it say? Yeah, you can dial, I think it's I think it's 17, try 1776 or 1771.
1771.
Try. 1771.
8.
Yeah, 1771. And see if,
Yeah, help desk.
okay.
Hey, we're in Stubblefield 204, and the security alarm is making beeping noises. Yes.
Call maintenance or something.
No, I'm holding.
Professor,
Yes.
are you gonna post our test grades on Blackboard or
What did you, I can show you what you got.
like with the short answer too?
You basically add 3 points. Did you see what you got?
Yeah, like 3 points each?
No,
Or
3
no?
points. You can add to your final score.
Okay.
Okay, so you can think about like adding 3 points.
On top of the multiple choice? Okay.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
Do you remember what you got?
UMPD?
Can I,
Okay.
do you have it on you?
I don't have it right now.
Alright, that's fine.
But do you remember?
86666. Okay, thank you.
Stay with me after class and we'll look it up.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Alright, they said call UMPD to deal with this. I don't know if we should do that or
Huh?
just
Take it
deal
back.
with the beeping.
I don't know, I didn't even pay attention. It bothered you?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's making that beeping noise.
I don't know. You know, let's get all this together and then if we,
Yeah, I wouldn't press the down button.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you do
okay,
Yeah.
so let me just go.
Yeah, yeah. That's why my 71 is on because like I didn't take that other quiz yet. Because it wouldn't make any sense. Especially if it was like 30 years. I get 100 on it. Or at least take some days. How much are those waiting for?
.com.
Yeah.
Do we have a name? We make a name, something we wanna call it. I guess start with yeah, so we set that up.
It's gonna be so cool. Like, visiting.
Oh, yeah.
Excited?
Oh, wait, am I done?
Yeah. I'm not that pretty excited.
Okay. Somebody wanna volunteer to write on the board? Volunteer. Let's get our name tags out, let's get started. Can you check, Alex, if, I'm projecting
Yeah.
in terms of the cycle and also
Yeah.
see if we can get the sound going? Hello, okay.
Scheme is working.
Okay. And you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The YouTube ones are working.
The YouTube as well. Can you get me, the project? Get the projections on.
Still have time to check. There.
Perfect, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Let me just check here. Check here. Great. This side. We have our name tags out, folks. We got everything here. How we doing? Anita, how are you? How's it going? Where's the project? How we doing?
Yeah, we built the website, we checked it out.
Rebecca, how we going? So we, did we do anything? Yes, that easy. Is that it? What?
We all, we're all on the website, we have to.
Oh, that's great. Makes more sense, no? Yeah. The other thing is relate. Good. Good, I wanna make sure. Okay. And what's here? We got everybody? So how are we doing here? So how are we doing with the project? What are we doing? What have we done? Okay, all right, so let me just do it. Okay? And what are we doing here? And when you have the, next week you're here? Huh? Okay, all right. And what's going on? We're okay with our group? Okay. All right, folks, welcome back. Good to see you all. Let me just tell you what we're gonna do today. First of all, welcome. And today we're gonna talk about AI, which stands for what? Artificial intelligence. We need to figure out what it is. What are the applications to it? I want to talk about something called ML. Anybody know what ML stands for? Machine learning. And there's something else, another acronym today, which is called DL. Anybody know what that is? Deep learning. We want to know what each of those are. AI, ML, machine learning, and deep learning. What is it as a whole? What are its differences? And what are its applications? Does that sound like a good open-ended question? Huh? What is AI, artificial intelligence? What is machine learning? What is deep learning? How are they similar? How are they different? And what are their applications, especially in business? We'll talk about the website design. We'll talk about Wix and a certificate. We'll talk about next steps for the project. And homework. The next will be on ERP quiz. That's, I believe, chapter 10. And it will be, I'll give you a project. And I'm putting a note here for myself and for you to talk about future tasks. Remind me to talk about that. Okay, so we got a idea. Questions before I begin? Yes? Okay, and I'll go over people's projects. We'll see what's happening and we'll do that. So first, let's do some housekeeping. Okay? So I'm going to go to assignments. And for today, we're going to cover Tech Guide 4, which is artificial intelligence, which I also want to include with it artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Next week, how many more weeks do we have after this? How many more sessions? 3 more sessions. Is that including that last, and that's it?
I think that's it, yeah.
So we have 2 more weeks together, and then the 3rd session, I'm going to watch you. And I'm going to be in everybody's group, right? So hopefully I'll be able to make contributions to everybody's group and say, hey, what else needs to be done? That's my role, is what else is missing. So you can get, if you do all the work, you can get the best possible grade. Okay? So, chapter 10, I need to make, it's ERP. What does ERP stand for? Who can tell me what ERP stands for? Let's look it up. So what do I have to do? I'm going to show the description before. Where else? I'm going to make it available to students. I'm going to add an announcement for the test. Let's see if that works. I'm going to number of attempts is 2. What else? All answers, give feedback. And let's submit. Do you see it? So what's ERP stand for? Anybody find out?
Enterprise Resource Planning.
Enterprise Resource Planning. So Anna, you want to make a roll? You want to make a roll? You have a sheet?
Sure.
Okay, on the roll, let's do this. On your roll, what I'd like you to do is put the date on the top, put yourself as number 1, but in the headers put first name, last name, phone, and then put in terms of project URL. I want to see then the URL in your projects, right? So if you even have it halfway, publish it so we can see the URL. So publish it. So we have that quiz. So next time is Enterprise Resource Planning. So I'm going to go back to the idea of enterprise. What's an enterprise?
The whole firm.
It's basically the whole firm. It's basically, if we think about the enterprise here, what's the enterprise here? University of Miami, right? It's an entire enterprise. So people are going to say, so for payroll, what do they use? Matt, what software do they use for payroll here?
Workday.
Workday is an example of an ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. It's basically part of the planning, part of the financials is Workday, right? So we can do that. So we'll talk about that next time, and we'll talk about how that's going to be incorporated into AI as well. Okay. Does everybody have it? Yes? Good. All right. So we have that part. Let me go to the course documents. There's two things in course documents I want you to download. Go to PowerPoint. I want you to download the Tech Guide 4. Good, I want you to download Tech Guide 4, and I also want you see on the very bottom there, it says Miami Wicks Core Portfolio March 2019 PDF. Do you see that? Everybody see that? Download that too. Okay. This was the presentation, and you have this now on Blackboard. This was the presentation that the representative from Wicks from New York City presented last week on the Wednesday evening. And you can go through this, but basically, yes.
So about Wix websites, did you say last week that we all have to, every group member has to make a Wix website?
I wanted you to try it out.
Okay, but then when we present our project, we can just have one main one that.
You can have a main one, or what you can do is have one main one, and then you could have links to the main one to the subsets.
Okay, got it.
I wanted each of you to have and I'll go through it. So basically, there'll be a major one, right?
Yeah.
And there may be going off, and you can get other domain names describing that same project that you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically, you can go through the slides of the concepts. They give you some, you can see here, they show you what other people have done in the past using Wix in terms of the graphics. You can go through, you see how you can scroll through it. This one for Ivy Chen, you can make it look really nice in this cast. They show you examples. So they show you examples to what you've done. They show you other examples of defining your goals, choosing your contents. And this is good for you to think about as a sitemap for the example of about your projects. There should be a section required. I'm requiring that you have an about what is your project doing, also about your team. There should be a team part there. And put in your notes this. I want you to talk about, once you've developed the entire idea, what are the next steps? What's the future look like? Everybody understand that, Stone? Did you hear me? That what I want on your project and on your part is what is going to be next. We have limited time to do this initial project. What would be the next steps to do? Is it to do the back end of the database? Is it to now go out and get actual sponsors? Is it the next stage that we need to get computer programmers to work with an API and application program interface? So list to yourself or what are the next steps to do. And with the Wix, they give you some examples. You can see some examples here. There were celebrities on sandwiches. Has anybody ever seen this? where you go and they're selling these pictures. What people come up with is they draw a celebrity and then they put them on sandwiches and they sell the pictures. Whoever thought about that? Okay, and what you can discuss, the look and feel, optimize and your don'ts. Don't overdo the animations. Post every project you've ever done. Forget to keep it up to date. And this, of course, you can take a picture of this. This is your code, your full year premium for a year. So you have that on Blackboard. You also can take a picture of this. You get a domain name, and if we go to Wix, this is, I guess this was already upgrade to premium. You can see here that when you even make it, when you upgrade to premium, you can do a website, and this is $29 a month that you get for free, where you get 20 gigs of storage. You can connect your domain name. You get 2 hours of video. You can remove the Wix ads, so it looks more professional. This I really like. This is costly too. You get a free domain for a year. You get $300 ad vouchers. You get a form builder app, so you can have a form where people can you can do an events calendar, professional logo, social media logo files, priorities, and you get VIP support. If you're going to do the website, I choose the $29. And if you want to do e-commerce, look at this. You get the e-commerce. This is end-to-end business solution, premium, $500 a month. You're getting all of this. So business VIP, $35 a month, with a free domain name as well. Plus you get Google Analytics, site boosters as well. So take advantage of it. that you have it. And this is new. This they didn't describe last time. She sent me this slide. So look at this slide. You can get a Wix certificate by giving them the URL. I'll give you their email. You send their URL. You say that you were in our class. And if your website meets the criteria of having text, images, a navigation menu that you've talked about, social media, apps, mobile optimization, and professional design, the site has at least 4 pages or sections. Home page, about me, contact. The site is easy to navigate. The student knows how to add elements, apps, and customize them. All site pages are designed for both desktop and mobile. Overall site design is clear, easy to read, and looks professional. The site uses images that fits the site's theme. The site has social media links that are properly connected. And if you're using the advanced features, we'll also check that the app settings are properly defined. And then you get this certificate of completion. This is part of the course that you can take advantage of. Let me know if you're interested in this. I'd suggest you submit. What does it hurt to submit? They'll tell you what's wrong with it, and you can make the adjustments. We're going to be reviewing it, and then you get this, and then you can add this to your resume. You can add it to your LinkedIn of Wix certificate of completion. You got it? Questions? Where's the roll? Is the roll going around? Who has it? So let's move it. Thanks. And this is, also copy this. This is Caitlin. This is her questions. You can copy that. and she'll respond as well. And tell her that you're in our class at the university, or you have some questions about the certificate or about any of the choices that you made. Just the only thing is, you need to put in a credit card. You put in the code, it's free. The only thing that I make sure you do is within a year, cancel it, or else they'll start billing you. Okay? So if you're just interested in for this semester, just at the end of the semester, or take it, I would take advantage of it and keep it till the end of the year. Okay, questions? Great. Okay. Other things. So, what is artificial intelligence? Matt, what's artificial intelligence?
I think behavior by a machine that is performed by a human being would be considered intelligent.
Okay. Give me an example of what you use for artificial intelligence. What are you using? Yes.
Siri,
Siri, how is that intelligent?
it gives you information what you ask for.
Okay, and how is it? And how is that intelligent?
It's quick and gives you up to date.
Hmm. So what are you doing? You text Siri, you speak to Siri. How do you interact with Siri?
It listens to your voice.
Okay, it listens to your voice and what? And tries to what? Interpret what your voice is. Traditionally, what have been computers good for? I give it an instruction and what? It processes very fast and gives me out. So for instance, if I have an Excel formula, right? It will then compute for me quite fast. So how is artificial intelligence different? Yeah.
With artificial intelligence, you're not giving the computer one task, you're kind of hoping that it learns, it can take in new information, I guess learn like intelligence, like a human, and be able to make its own decision.
Okay, that's part of intelligence. So artificial intelligence, think about how difficult that is even when we think about Siri, right? That you're speaking, first of all, it has to do what? It has to translate. What does the computer understand? Let's review from weeks ago. What does the computer understand? Just zeros and ones, right? So not only does it have to understand, it has to understand language and basically translate that language. What does it take here to do? So what they've been trying to do for many decades is try not just the machine to do computation, but the machine to what? Start acting like a human being. And acting like a human being in terms of intelligence is what? That I can infer something, right? That I can make some reference to something. And a Turing test, what is a Turing test? Do you know, Alex?
Yeah, it's a test that's supposed to determine if an AI is like sufficiently capable.
Look it up. Turing, how do you spell Turing? Turing. I want everybody now working.
Okay, what passes it mean?
Right, and who's gonna test? Carmen, did you do that? Type in Turing. Did you guys type in Turing? We're just excited to see you. What do we get for a Turing test? Yes, what are we getting?
It's best when you try to have a normal conversation with a computer and like a person judges if it's a computer or a person.
Right,
Like,
so basically listening to Siri, right? If they didn't know because of the voice pitch and so forth, and we saw the text, are you asking a human or are you asking a computer? And the Turing test said, if it's really good, a human wouldn't be understanding, wouldn't be able to differentiate. They even started in psychiatry, where they had a psychiatrist and a computer. And you speaking right to the psychiatrist, you don't know who you're speaking to. And the psychiatrist or the computer would be interacting. And they had it in which even they tried it with, they had case studies and giving it to the psychiatrist and to the computer, which of these people would be most likely to commit suicide. And think about it, in healthcare, it really works well, right? When you think about, look at radiology. The computer looks at some of the screens and a human looks at some of the x-rays. Who can tell if something's going to be malignant or not? How do you do that? How does that work? And we'll talk about it. And then we really are starting to talk about artificial intelligence versus natural human intelligence. So this is the key that it's been going through. These are the steps that you can think about, the differences and the comparisons of natural versus artificial intelligence. And what are the differences here? And where does it really work well and where does it not work well? And then you have something called expert systems. Put that in your notes. Sometimes we also call it ES for expert systems. And expert systems is a version of artificial intelligence that a human trains to do specific tasks to act like an expert. Let me give you an example. Taxes. You always do what? When you have income tax, you're going to call an expert. And then you think, well, what are expert systems? Now they have software that does tax, software that's embedded some questions that act like an expert. And what you put in your notes here, expert systems give you probabilities on the likelihood of being correct. Being correct. In other words, how confident am I in my answer? Expert systems are narrow. There's two types of artificial intelligence. There's one that's general and one that's narrow. The general ones are like a general human being that we think about in general, but tax expert system is very narrow. It solves a certain problem. Think about it as expert systems and narrow, for instance, of automated trading systems that can have embedded artificial intelligence or machine learning with it. So the structure, you can go through this, but this is the structure, and basically there are a couple of things that you need to know in expert systems. One is there's an explanation module that, just like if I go to an advisor for investments, I can ask them and they tell me, you know what, you should invest in the tech stocks this quarter. What is the question I'll be asking the expert is why? I should be able to ask the computer program also, why am I doing something? Why did you tell me to invest in tech stocks? So that would be the same in what we would be doing in the tech. in order to transfer, what's the most difficult idea in expert systems is how do I get an expert to transfer their information to the computer? Let's say we had here Alex, he was my expert. What motivation does Alex have to take his knowledge and bring it into the computer program? How would he even do that? Why would he even devote the time to it? And we have to drill down to ask, basically, how would it be put into the computer? So how are we going to acquire it? How are we going to represent it? And how do we make an inference? And how do we transfer it? So in a knowledge base, we have facts and we have rules. You remember rules when we had like the simple moving average when one was fast and when they crossed over, then we were going to, when they crossed above, what we were going to do, we were going to buy. If it crossed below, we were going to enter a short. Those would be the rules. The facts would be when it crosses. And we'd have an inference engine. And expert systems are really good for interpretation, in prediction, and how I can diagnose, design, planning, and monitoring. They're useful if I want to be helping in repairs, helping me design a product, or help me repair products. And these are the benefits then of the expert systems that many times they can even teach novices. By going through the system, they can learn. Sometimes the experts don't are learning less, but the novices, for training purposes, it really works well. The disadvantage for expert systems is they always have to be updated, especially when the content changes. Think about taxes. Every year there's different taxes. You have to get it updated. If it's not updated, it's going to be irrelevant. Now, there's something called neural networks. Sometimes they're called artificial neural networks. Wow, squeak. Anybody hear of a neuron? What's a neuron? What's a neuron?
Pathway in the brain.
Right, pathway to the brain. Artificial intelligence is trying to mimic those pathways to the brain and finding those synapses, right, that are basically looking at what are the weights of those. So this is how it started with artificial intelligence with the neural networks, and you can see they're doing it even in research with Alzheimer's, with Parkinson's, with bank fraud detection. So let's think about fraud detection. Let's think about even something else in fraud. Let's think about credit fraud detection. Who's ever been called by the credit card companies for some kind of an alert? From what has it been?
Like a bunch of times. Like I get emails like, is this you like making this purchase?
Okay, and why do you think you get it?
I don't know if it's like a website that's like not like trustworthy or something, or if I'm like traveling and I don't tell them.
A little bit different from your regular routine.
Right.
They use neural networks. And let me just tell you, you need to write this down because this is a good test question. There's two types when we talk about neural networks, and we talk about deep learning, and we talk about machine learning. There's two types of ways that we do it. We have what we call supervised and unsupervised training. Supervised means I have a hypothesis, I have my data. I break down my data for training and then testing. Then what I do is I look at the results and where there are errors, I go back and correct them and put them back into training. So, let's think about our example with credit cards. I have data. What kind of data do I have in credit cards? Where's the roll? We finished? When we finish, please bring it up, okay? Where is it? It needs to be here. Who hasn't had it? It's these. Okay, so move them down this way. A lot of people don't have it. What data do I have in credit cards? Allie, what data do I have? Do I have any data when let's say we're at bank and we've done credit card. And when a credit card gets fraudulent, when it gets stolen, when somebody on the internet, right, they have the dark web or something, my credit card number is there, you remember the security code, and also what's there, remember your mother's maiden name, all those secret questions, they're also on the dark web. You can download millions of those credit cards if they have information. So what information, if somebody steals my credit card, if somebody uses my credit card, right, do I have to, and it's, last time I saw it, one time I had it in rubles. I saw a transaction that said RU after it, and I haven't gone to Russia, you know? So I knew there was a problem, and as soon as they saw it, they shut down they gave me another card number. Who was responsible for that? Was I responsible? No. Who has to eat it up? The bank. So does the bank have an incentive to really make it secure? Yes. So they spend millions of dollars on this fraud, on all this machine learning and neural networks to do it. So what data do they have? The bank, after the fact. They have all the transactions, right? And they have the data, so when you think about big data, it really fits with this. They have, and you can put this in your notes, they have good transactions. And this could be millions and millions. And then they have fraudulent transactions that they know of after the fact, right? After they saw mine, what do they see? That they hadn't, fraudulent transactions. And what they have is the hypothesis is to try to figure out what are the characteristics of fraudulent activities. And it may be all of a sudden my spending limit went up. That could be a characteristic. What else? It could be that I'm in another place. It could be that I went to a gas station and filled up a car for $2. Why is that? It could be a flag. Going to the gas station is a flag a lot of times for these credit cards for small amounts, especially in a different city than I usually am in. Why? Everybody hear what I just asked? Did you hear what I asked? What did I ask?
Gas stations.
Small amounts in a different city. Why is that kind of like a flag for a fraud?
So you can use cash? 'Cause it's a small.
Anybody ever fill up your car? You fill it up on your own? You put in a credit card, right? So if they have physically, they have they either stole my credit card or they made a phony credit card. What do? They put it in. If it comes out that, so why in a gas station does that look good? Why is that? Why would a thief do that?
To make it seem like you were actually there.
Why else?
Make it seem like it's his card.
Huh?
Make it seem like it's his own card.
Why else? How about if that was called in already? If he goes to, let's say he goes and buys a Rolex watch, in a store, he would actually have to give the card, right? And if it was reported stolen, he's in the car, he's in the what? That guy's already in the store, right? They have security there that can catch him. What about in a gas station? Why? No, it's there. And what else? I got a car. I can speed off. So they usually check a lot of times to see if that's a valid card. If they still can use it by going to a gas station. And they can even just do a small amount. They don't have to even fill it up a lot just to see it. So those are things. So I have the fraudulent transactions, and then what I want to do is I want to put this in here. What I want to do is I want to train. So I give this information to the computer, and I want the computer to find me the patterns in which these are good transactions and these are fraudulent transactions. Find me the characteristics. I'm just giving you one, but find me the characteristics that make a fraudulent transaction that I can be alert on. Maybe I'm not 100%, but at least I can be alert. And then, once I train it, this is my testing area. I know what the results are supposed to be. I train it and I see how accurate the computer forecasts based on the attributes. Remember we talked about attributes? So this is going to be based on my attributes for my forecast. This will be my testing. Once I do that, each of my attributes get a weight. Attributes get weights. So maybe gas station has one, location another, has a weight. It may also be then the store, the merchandise. All of these are different weights, and then it will be adjusted to make my testing more accurate, and I know the results. It's just like we did the forecast, you remember, with the stocks, and I said, go ahead and see how accurate your predictions were. So those are neural networks. Fuzzy logic is a branch of mathematics that deals with uncertainties, and they're going to simulate processes of human reasoning. Let me give you an example. You use a dryer, and you set your dryer to what? 60 minutes. I want to dry my clothes. 45 minutes. Now they have fuzzy logic dryers, which are what?
Is that the one that like changes depending on how like wet the clothing is?
Right. It basically says it wants to be dry. Rather than giving it minutes. It's almost as if they use it sometimes for matchmaking. So, if I ask somebody, if you were looking for a date, give me the characteristics of what you would be looking for. So who wants to give me a characteristic? Okay, so you go out to a club, you meet somebody, or you're meeting here, you want to date somebody. Give me the characteristics. Let's use one of the women in the class instead of the guys. Okay, so Allie, you wanna participate with me in this exercise? Okay, so if you were looking for someone to date, maybe more serious than others, what would you be looking for? What attributes?
Nice.
Nice, okay, so she says she wants somebody nice. Okay, what else? That's it? Good looking. Okay, what else? That's it, nice, good looking. Smart. Anything else? Funny. These ratings, we'll rate them later. Okay? Nice, good looking, smart, funny. Any others? We'll leave it at that. So let's say you want tall, short, tall. She wants tall too. She wants tall too. Okay. So the question is, this would be in a matching engine. This would be fuzzy logic. Because what is tall? Right? In some countries, tall would be what? 5'6". Some countries it would be 6'4". Right? What is smart? For some people, smart would be, a genius, and other ones, he knows how to read and he has a job, right? That's smart, right? Good looking, what is the idea? Now you can think about it, all of these can be done, there are even some things on good looking, there are even some computer programs, and think about it, using artificial intelligence is vision. One of the things on vision, they were talking about what is beauty, is symmetric, and it's also eyes of the beholder, right? What is nice? All of these, what is funny? All of these can be fuzzy logic because in this case, they don't have a discrete value to them. Just like I want dry, or I want a certain heating area. So this is called a way in fuzzy logic in the way that it doesn't have discrete ways, and they're doing the same thing with the algorithms, the genetic algorithms, just like they do in biology. Examples in the field of those genetics. So they're doing just like mutations of those, they're trying to do those of genetic algorithms in the field for supply chains and others. And then they have something called an intelligent agent that you need. Sometimes we used to call them soft bots. Remember, another word put in your notes there for intelligent agent is a soft bot, is a software program that assists you, it acts on your behalf, it performs repetitive computer tasks, it's an information agent, use it for monitoring, to surveillance. Remember, when there's certain movements at certain times of the day, we can be using these intelligent agents. Now, what I want you to do is go back to your blackboard and go to your web links. And at the bottom of your web links, at the very bottom, you'll see 3 articles that I want you to read. One is called The Difference Between AI, Machine Learning, and Deep Learning. This is by, and you need to answer the question, what's the difference between AI, machine learning, and deep learning? And as I mentioned before, when we think about it, that we talk about AI being machine, meaning the computer's going to try to imitate, going to try to mimic the human behavior, and machine learning, put this in your notes here, is a subset of AI. AI is the large category, machine learning is a subset, and that consists of techniques that enable computers to figure out things from the data and deliver the AI applications. And deep learning, basically, remember we talked about the neural networks, there are more layers in the deep learning. So read through this article where it will show then that machine learning then that gives computers the ability to learn, just like we talked about before, it gives the computer the ability to learn. So read through that. The other one is clearing the confusion between AI versus machine learning versus deep learning. And in this case, they're just talking about the difficulties of the computer to act like a human. And you can see the same thing. AI is the overall, machine learning, and deep learning is more specific. And you can see here that it incorporates human intelligence into machines, that you can think about it. And AI-powered machines are usually defined in two ways. What we talked about before, the general and the narrow. Solving a specific problem or a generic problem. And machine learning, eventually the intention is able to learn themselves. They'll be able, in machine learning, well, once you give them data and make accurate predictions. So in our case of machine learning here in the testing, once we give it new data that we don't know the results, it will come accurate. And you can see now a lot of the credit card companies, when they give those alerts, once they make a mistake and it really was me, it should go back to the machine and try to correct itself. That's the idea, the examples for it. They give you examples, and here they'll give you examples on what is deep learning then is a subset of machine learning in where it's going to get more accurate in terms of learning. And a lot of times they're using it. You see here, artificial networks then are a type that imitate those decisions. That's the second one. And the third one, Google has then deep learning AI. And where is Google really using it? Anybody hear about Google doing autonomous driving? Waymo? It's basically, how do I tell if that's a person walking in front of me? How do I tell if that's a tree? How do I tell if it's waving, the leaves are waving? How do I tell how far I am? All of that, you can think about the vision. It's incredible when you think about the visions here of learning. So this is the area of AI and what Google is interested in deep learning. They've been doing a lot of that. So read through those three articles. Those would be good in terms of getting questions for the exams. Questions? Now, you remember AWS? Who remembers AWS? What does it stand for? Amazon Web Services. Go with me to Amazon Web Services. Type AWS, Amazon Web Services. Last time we talked about Amazon Web Services, you remember? What was it good for? What was the main thing we focused the last week on Amazon Web Services? Stone, what was it that we focused on the Amazon Web Services? What was it for? Remember?
Last week?
From lunch. Look here. Maybe this will bring back the memory. What?
Cloud computing?
Cloud computing. Remember we talked about it? It can then host all my sessions in the cloud. Basically, when we think about Wix, Wix could be using Amazon to host your websites. But look at this. We talked about Amazon. Go to products with me. Everybody there? You see on their services, analytics, blockchain, business application, compute, databases. This is all the things I can do in the cloud. End user computing, game tech, Internet of Things. What's this one that I'm highlighting right here? Anybody read it? What am I highlighting? What does it say? Machine learning. Let me click on machine learning. Do you think you need a lot of computing power to do machine learning when I have millions and millions of transactions and I want to find a pattern? What do you think so? I need a lot of computing power. Do you think somebody like Amazon has I can do on-demand service and say, hey, I want a lot of computing power, I want a lot of storage capacity, I want maybe 5 machines, 10 machines. So what this is machine learning on AWS, Amazon Web Services, putting machine learning in the hands of every developer. You can see that what they're doing, has the broadest, deepest set of machine learning and AI services for your business. On behalf of our customers, we're focused on solving some of the toughest challenges that hold back machine learning from being in the hands of every developer. You can choose from, look at this, I love it, pre-trained, you see that? Pre-trained AI, highlight that for yourself too, pre-trained AI services for, look at this, Matt, computer vision, that's like Waymo, right? Language, right? We can do a language, recommendations. Where have you seen recommendations? Who uses recommendations? Have you ever seen Amazon use recommendations? When you buy something, how do they do it? With machine learning, because they keep on learning about you as a customer and everyone else that bought the books and what everyone else then liked or what you liked about the travel, right? People that like this traveling exhibition can do it. Forecasting. Amazon SageMaker, look at this, to quickly build, train, and deploy machine learning models at scale, or build custom models with support over popular open source frameworks. So what does that really mean? It means traditionally we needed to have a PhD in statistics, a PhD in operations research, we needed a PhD in finance, in physics, in mathematics to create these models. How many of these people are out there? And are they to your disposal? What Amazon and others and Google and Microsoft do is say, we'll create models for you and you run them. We have our PhDs and researchers saying these are the best machine learning models and you can then run them. So they have it built in. So even if you're not an expert on this, you can get that done. Or if you have experts in your team, you can build custom models with, what does this mean? Trudy, what does this mean right here? Open source framework.
It means that they're free and accessible to anyone.
Yeah. So they're saying, hey, we're not going to hold you to it. Our capabilities are built on the most comprehensive cloud platform optimized for machine learning with high performance compute. What does high performance compute mean? That they're going to give you all the CPU that you need. You rent it. You use it for that. Let's say we have a project that we're doing this and no compromises on security and analytics. And here's a quote from Chief from Expedia, right? Because what does Expedia want to do? Is to learn about their customers. AWS is our ML platform. ML stands for what? Machine learning platform of choice, unlocking new ways to deliver on our promise of being the world's travel platform. And you see here, ML services build, train, and deploy. AI services easily add intelligence to your applications, framework, compute, and analytics. So you can see that, for instance, have you ever seen like Google Translate? Instead of creating a translator program, you can use their program. and incorporate it into your application. So all of these are like web services that you can easily add intelligence to your application. So they're saying, we created this intelligence, now we're gonna sell that intelligence and add it to your applications. We're reusing it, yes.
How much does it cost to integrate that?
It depends on, it's not that much, but it depends on how big the project is. Some of it you can try out for free.
It's interesting.
You know, and once you start growing and scaling, then it relatively, it's very inexpensive if you had to create it from scratch. And that's the beauty, is all these applications that they've done, Amazon has done and used all those years, and they're saying, hey, we're gonna make another business on using our expertise and sharing it, and then the economies of scale. And I can sell it to all the big corporations, but I can also sell it to the small entrepreneur, the small startup that wants to add a Translate program or wants to add a vision program, that I can recognize whether you're happy or sad, or I can recognize emotions, or I can recognize ages of people. I don't have to reinvent the word, or facial recognition. You see in Facebook, do you have facial recognition? Yeah. It can be used also, there's a problem, you know, the ethics around it and so forth, but all this exists, everything that you exist, it's basically, you just take that program, it's called an API, you just hook it into your program. And you're using it. In terms of a voice to text, that already exists. You don't have to write a new program for voice to text, just use the applications. Excellent question. So you can add it. Look at this. You want recommendations in your product? Personalized experiences for your customer with the same recommendations used at Amazon. So for instance, who's doing like the social nightlife or something at Miami? You could then incorporate recommendations. If you're this certain type of person, right? I like this type of club, or I like this type of music, or a type of place I go to you wouldn't like. But those people that are more like me would make those recommendations. So you can add it. Forecasting. You see that? Build accurate forecasting models based on the same machine learning used by Amazon.com. Basically, you can be an Amazon as a startup. I mean, how great is this? You know? Image and video analysis. Add image and video analysis to your applications to catalog assets, automate media workflows, extract meaning. And it's called Amazon Recognition. Voice. Turn text into lifelike speech to give voice to your applications. You want to do it? Don't reinvent the wheel. Document analysis. Advanced text analysis. Use natural processing to extract insights and relationships from unstructured text. Wouldn't that be great in trading? Getting basically reading like what's trending on Twitter, what's trending on stock twits, what's trending on what people say about my media. So for your project, for the future, you may say, you know, we want to add text analysis, we want to add recommendations. You can even cite something like Amazon to your future projects. Translation. You want basically in other languages, expand your reach through efficient, cost-effective translation to reach audiences in multiple languages. I want to get to the Spanish market. What do I have to have a human start doing it? Then later on I can have a human review it, but let the machine first do the translation. Isn't that great? And you can see here companies that have been using it, right? Conversational, easily built conversational agents to improve customer service, increase contact center efficiency. This is all under, you see this? This is all under that ML services. Easily add intelligence to your application. No machine learned. Look at this. This is what I love. And they're selling this. Easily add intelligence to applications. No machine learning skills required. It's built in, you just run the program. Beautiful. Questions? So that's what I want you to get out of the chapter, the add-ons to basically more than the chapter is to think about it. And if you went to Azure, do you think you would find something like that? Matt, what's Azure? You remember? Who remembers what Azure is?
Microsoft's
Microsoft, right? So if I do Azure, Microsoft, notice Microsoft's the first one, the cloud computing. I go to Microsoft Azure, go to it with me, Azure Microsoft, and then look at products. It's here, solutions here, analytics, compute, Internet of Things, management, right? Networking, web, featured, right? Virtual machines, right? Solutions, right? And in the industries, look at this, artificial intelligence. Make artificial intelligence real for your business today. We want our customers to love us, and by using Azure AI to make engagement with our services more human. We will certainly increase customer satisfaction and loyalty. So they want to be efficient, but somebody wants to have it be human. Thanks to Azure AI, for the first time, we've been able to predict a defect before it occurs. The fact that you can predict that and know why you predicted it is really impactful. So know why. Remember I talked about AI telling you the explanation, telling you the why? This is the MBA. As we get insights from our data, I see a future where using Azure AI, we can not only further automate our business, but use the system to drive personalized, value-based engagement with our fans. This is kind of, who's my marketing people? This is always what everybody wants. I want to have personalized, I want value-based engagement of my customers. So you can see here, you want to, of what you can see in terms of it, and look how much it costs to start it. Free. So you can try it out with small amounts of data, you can try it out. And then look at here, Microsoft to achieve human parity in vision. So put this in your notes. These are applications to AI. Vision, speech recognition, language machine translation. And what they call data mining or knowledge mining is uncover latent insights from all your content. I have all this content, I don't even know the meaning of it. Find me something that I didn't know, some insight. Uncover latent insights, documents, images, media with Azure Search, using only cloud search service with built-in AI capabilities. Discover patterns, put that in your notes. AI should discover patterns and the relationships in your content, understand sentiment, extract key phrases, and more. Insights from your content. I have so much content and I don't even know the meaning of it. That is artificial intelligence. And you see here that they're building those models in more and more. These data scientists are good on the team, but later on at Microsoft, Google, Oracle, they'll be providing the models for you. And it's basically figuring out which models to use in a team. Okay, how was that? Everybody got kind of insight on basically this AI and how it's working. How are we doing that? Okay? So now we got the oversight. So you can see along with the Azures, along with the AWS, their cloud computing, and with the cloud then you're adding on their computers, and then you can kind of think about it, you're purchasing by the project on demand their services. I want a translation program. Why reinvent the wheel? I want a vision program. So you're taking different parts of it, and then basically you can think about it, I'm using those. Project by project. I don't have to buy the machines, I don't even have to buy the software. I don't have to buy the programmers. They'll support it and they'll keep on improving. So that's why you can think about it. Some of you are gonna do the, competing with the translation. You can use some of these translation programs already and then add your own flair. I want translation programs when American students go to Spain and travel. And then I can do AI apps and agents to deliver then basically what they call bots or software bots. And then you can have a collection of domain-specific pre-trained AI models that can be customized to your data with vision, speech, language, and web search. You see and they're basically all competing against each other. They basically all have the same services, just one is, get each of them, it's great with the competition, each is getting better and better. Okay, questions? So, let me see what you guys have done so far. So I'm gonna go to Blackboard now, so we know what the homework is for that part. We have then, the homework then, let me add to the homework. What else on the homework is the quiz. Chapter, what was it? 13, ERP. And then the 3 articles last 3 articles on web links, on AI, ML, and DIA. Okay, so let me go back to Blackboard, go to my audit area of KX. Where's the role? Where is the role? Right here, okay. You got it? You wanna come up? Thank you so much. Anyone else not sign in? When you finish, give it back. Okay, KX. Oh, I'm the wrong one. Audit KX. Course documents. So is this the group, Yasmin, Jack, and Nikki? Or do we have 4 in the group?
Yeah, there's 4.
So why is the 4th not here? Are they somewhere else?
Because I was originally in a different group and then we switched.
Okay, so maybe make it like group 1A project or something. You know what I mean? So I have everybody there. Do you have the URL? Did you put it in already?
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, did you, I don't know if you put it in, but you put it on the roster.
No, in here, in your group, in your project. Okay, so what I want you to do is, do you have the URL? So for tonight, before the end of the night, put in right here, under Business Tech Project, put the URL here so I can click on it and I can see it. Okay? So work on it before you leave tonight, I want it on there. Okay? Group 2, Sydney, Katie, and Mike, are you here? My group 2? Okay, they're not gonna get credit for that tonight. Okay, group 3 project, Simon and Noah. They're not here either. And what I have, group 4, Diana, Thomas, and Paul.
No, we split it too.
No, yeah, we split that.
Okay, where are you now? Where's your group? Down at the bottom, okay. And group 5,
Yeah, we have our. I have a question. We have to publish the link.
well, you have to publish your website so we can see it.
Yeah,
But
it's
if we
published.
oh, it is okay.
It's published already? So let me go into group
Oh,
5.
yeah, okay.
Group 5, extra credit, okay. So what you wanna do here is make this linkable. Okay? So I don't have to do this. So just make it linkable. You know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
So make it linkable so I can do it. Okay. So tell me, so this is a good example. So we got here, what do we got? So I have this over this, is this not so,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but anyways, we'll fix it up. Okay, so what have we gotten? So who wants to describe what we got here?
Yeah, so basically, we work in the about section and then our team, which is the third tab, has like pictures and descriptions on it.
Okay, our
And
team.
then some of the other ones, like the social media, we just put like what we were doing. We haven't like formatted it fully, but we just
Okay,
put what our plan
okay,
is.
we got the beginning, we got our team, the night app. So who's working on that?
That's Katie.
Okay, she here? Okay, customer service, what are who's doing this? Okay, our schedule, social media, so what's in promoters and local? And here's the ride sharing? Okay. So what's the next step
I
for
think,
next week?
I think just like formatting it and connecting it with the app and everything.
Okay.
Just kind of piecing it together.
Okay, so next week, 2 things I want from your group, write it down. First of all, this needs to be, I think you don't want it like this, right? This needs to be fixed. Also, what you wanna do is you wanna do your app, at least the beginning of your app for next week. You give me a introduction of what your app's gonna look like. And then, what I want is that you think about the whole project, you can make even another one, and I don't know if you want it within this or in the PowerPoint, about future, what's the future gonna look like? And do we talk about the revenue model here? So I need 2 parts from you. Either you put it in here of the revenue model, or you put them in a PowerPoint. So put this in your notes there, folks. I need these 2 things for next week. I need the revenue model. And I need the future plan. This is how far we anticipate, and then later on, for instance, we'll do the programming part, later on we'll do the other parts. Okay. For class participation, excellent. Very good. So I'm gonna go back, so make this linkable, so everybody see what I want for next week. Everybody, by even the end of tonight, I want everybody's business tech project, I want the link to be underneath here. So I can just write on your business tech project, I can see that. And that was which group? That was group 5. Especially with yours, and it may be, what we can do is then we can have a couple of websites where we can link to, that they can, that it's not so overwhelming, we can even have some of them, and then you can link back to each other of the websites. Well, let's look at that as well. Okay, Grant, Michelle, and this has changed too, no, this group?
Yeah, it's the one right under.
Okay, 6A, right? So, do you have a link here?
Yeah, just look in there, go in. Yeah.
Okay, do the same thing for me. Make this linkable, that I don't have to do this each time. Okay. Now you see here on GMS 181 webwixsite.com, later on, now that you have the code, you can get your own domain name.
Okay.
Live, what was this supposed to be, live,
Yeah.
well, Miami web scene or something, you know, get a good URL. Okay, looks great. This is nice. Very nice. Welcome to Miami, the live mission, social media, okay? Never waste a night, okay? Clubs, okay? Time, okay, so this is supposed to be, these are recommendations. You know what would be good here is to do something with linking that later on at least of recommendations. You know, other people that like this club, or maybe do some links to other reviews or something. Or even later on for the futures, that you'll add like a recommendations, maybe even a voice, you know, type of thing. You even, you know, what'd be interesting too, is the idea that, you know, when somebody's at the club, they can send some videos, hey, we're enjoying ourselves or something, you know, that you can add on, you know, who's there. What?
We got that.
Yeah, you know what I mean, that I think it'd be we got the thing. Now, the best way to ensure a great night, okay, let's connect, okay? Live founders, okay? Wow, what a crew, okay? They look like, you guys look like the day after. The hangover scene. Oh, God. Oh. Wow, I like it. Oh, this is good. You all got these backgrounds, right? Okay, good. Okay, so web design. Okay, so we're only on a first name basis? Is that it? Incognito? Or we're so famous that we only have first names? Is that it? Everybody just knows, right? And I like Ryan with that spelling, right? It sounds like it should only be a first name. Okay, okay, revenue model, okay. So what we, okay. So what are we doing here, these costs?
It's through advertisements.
Yeah.
We'll explain it.
Okay, this needs to be fitted. Okay, so what's the next step for next week?
Updating the site a little bit more. You said like working on an app.
Yeah, you want to do an app. So pick an app, find something that, there's Fluid UI, there's AppyPie, there's a number, just Google in and search for app development for non-programmers. And you want to have the shell and show me your app, because really that's what people, have you looked on the phone to see if this looks good on your phone?
No.
So look at, also do that, make sure that your mobile, and make it a little bit more, your pictures are great.
More professional.
Not more professional, and even the thing, is make it that somebody wants to be there, more exciting. You know what I mean? That if it looks, but I like our first picture. It's really great. Okay, first stab is great. And then what I would do is I get a URL that it would be, that you can use, and then even kind of look for like who would be sponsors, who would be vendors with that. Okay, wonderful. I like it. Okay. Oh, 7. So 7 is 7, or 7 is combined, or what?
7 is done, it's 8.
It's 8 now? Okay. Okay, so what is this website and what is this project proposal? This is,
Websites.
okay, so do me a favor next time, just do it as project, and then just put your URLs there that I don't have to go down under. Okay, so we got 3, do we have one combined, or what do we have?
Bottom one.
The bottom one, you want this?
Yes.
Make it link
I-
clickable. And do me a favor, then put it in the front underneath. You can do that now. Anything that I tell you now, why waste your time and do it later? Do it now. Let's get it out of the way. Okay. So what is this one? This is flashing, so you got that, okay?
Yeah, they're similar to the previous groups.
Okay, so what are you different?
So for us, we have 2 big things we want to tackle. Finding convenient locations and figuring out an event that's well attended.
Okay.
Kind of keeping it alive. On the website, these images are supposed to upload, but they weren't working on.
Okay.
So we'll fix that for next
You'll
time.
fix
So
it
we'll
for
sign
next
it
time.
right now.
Okay, so
I
you
can tell
really need
right
to do
now.
the app, right?
Yeah.
You have to design the app. This is nice.
Yeah.
I like this. That was
what I-
cute.
so.
That's sort of like that I was telling them to do. And this part, I would kind of break down that this can, I don't have,
Yeah,
it's too
that's
much
not-
reading.
So I'll fix
Yeah,
it.
that you have to figure out, and then how are we gonna divide everybody up here? We got so many people and I only see your website here. So we gotta figure out who's doing what and
Right, yeah,
and each.
we have a development team and then.
Yeah, but we gotta have everybody participate, you
Right.
know what I mean? That's my only problem. So next week, what I want from you guys, this has to be cleaned up, this part, right, too wordy. And the second thing is, your biggest thing is, your app has to be done. And then see if this is mobile ready. And then the other thing, like everybody else is, about the app, and then figure out what the app is, and then do something You even can do it in this part, is do an example, even if it's not really, you know, that this is finding, and then like do an example of what we're finding, you know. Good. All right, we got something. All right, where are we now? I got the 8, the 9, is this what I need? Are we here in number 9? I don't see anybody, do we?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so let's go.
Yeah, so we like made our website previously, so it's on Weebly, so we're gonna remake it on Wix, but like you can just get an idea of it.
Okay. And what, remind me what you're gonna do?
The student tutoring network for like colleges and high schools.
Okay. I don't know why it's taking so long to load. Okay, so you got all the, for your group, you got everything that needs to be done,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we only doing this? The thing, are we only doing this for the University of Miami, or are we doing it for generic?
Well, you told us last week to like start it like
I
here.
started it, you know, but I wouldn't make this.
Yeah, so we can just make that like a separate website since we're all making individual websites.
Yeah, but
So then
right,
we can make one page.
as almost like
Yeah.
a sample one that we have.
Right, like because you can create like a school specific one.
Right, make it more generic.
Right.
Rather than the U here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is looking like, in this way it'll be for everyone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can have extensive, okay? And that's it?
Well, you can click connect
Oh,
to tutors.
okay, so it needs to be worked on, okay, but we got the
Yeah.
thing, and then do it with the Wix, this way everybody can get certified,
Yeah.
okay? All right, so what are you gonna do for next week, what are you gonna tell the whole group then?
Just to like have everything we need, make it on Wix, and then
And
have.
then I think it'd be good for an app too, have part of your group, how many people are in your group?
4.
4. I look at doing it as an app too, have like at least, maybe 2 of the people do the app,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, next. What do I got? Just to give people, okay? Do I have,
Yeah, right here.
okay, so what do we do? Okay, same thing. Make it linkable, so I don't have to, share what you have.
Yeah, it's a music community.
Right, I remember. The team, okay, so we got the team, looks good, everybody looks great. Looks a little chilly, good. Okay, and we got this music application problems. Is that it?
Exactly.
A home and about, okay. So now we gotta figure out what are we doing and show examples. And do an app and show some actual examples, okay? Next, course documents. 13, okay, Ashton and Michael, what do we got?
So we split groups.
Okay, where are you now?
I'm in group 8A.
AA project, okay. Same thing. Do me a favor, make it linkable. Okay, and later on, we don't have to have BTE Group 14 UM. Not a very great, but later on when you do it for real, then you can think about doing it. So what is this now?
Well, basically, we're currently in the process of discussing exactly how we're going to go about our about section, and the reason being is we're still working out the cost projections.
Okay,
The way we're doing it is we actually found a study.
so this is the coaching, this is,
So it's like something we're thinking about, you know, but we still need to refine it a lot, obviously. But we're
Yeah.
still like sort of in the drawing board, so to speak.
okay, so let's,
Yeah.
we need to get more than the, next
Definitely,
week is
definitely.
really
And
important, okay?
unfortunately, you know, some of the.
We got a picture here, right, read more and so forth, okay? So you know what to do, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, next. AA, who else am I missing? Did I miss? Okay, and group B, do I have this?
Yeah. The links,
This is it,
yeah. The link was on the under our names too.
under here or no? Here, okay, so put it in the front. And then later on, and the next one you can make a URL, okay? So what is this now?
Garrett changed our idea, so he is still like updating the questions and stuff, but it's like subleasing cars.
This is like car rental?
Yeah.
Why is this good?
'Cause there hasn't been a lot of new like subleasing of cars recently.
What's the difference between subleasing and leasing?
I'm not sure exactly, we haven't really like spoken about it, he just brought it up like yesterday, he has no idea.
Stay with me, okay? Because we don't have a lot of time. Okay. Please stay with me. Okay, who am I missing? Did I see yours, Alex, in your group? What am I missing?
It's 11.
So what have we done?
We've just kind of made the website right now. We've been like focusing on
This
the
is-
actual idea behind it. We haven't set up the website yet, so.
Okay,
Yeah, we
We
just
have
got all
it.
the Wix stuff today.
okay,
So we
so
were
is
working
it,
on it right now.
okay, all right,
But it's
so-
up and running, you can check it out.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so we need to work
There's a
on
little description right about, Mike was able to put the about up there.
here.
Yeah, a little brief about,
Yeah,
obviously,
it's a little,
we're gonna make it,
yeah,
obviously better,
yeah.
but we wanted to have something.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
you know what to do.
Yeah, it'll take.
Okay, so next, and do we need an app for this?
No, we're just.
Okay, and then what we need also is, on the revenue model, we need to know, there should be a section, like I said.
Yeah, of course.
On the education, so
Yeah, of course.
who's else I need to look at? Okay, so I think everybody start, so next week, I wanna see apps, I wanna see revenue models, we'll do the ERP. Yes,
What do you mean by like apps? You just wanna like a paragraph, like
no, actually do, just like you do a Wix website, do a prototype of an app.
taking a Word doc?
No, with an app development, you can use, there's a lot of fluid UI, just type in Google, app development for non-programmers. Right, it'll be like this, app development. For dummies or for non-programmers. App development tools. Best acronym for non-programmers, 25 simple tools for building mobile apps fast. Can I create an app without knowing coding? How do I keep it best, things like that. And let's have everyone have that for next week, and then we can find out, and then you can even, what I'd like you to do is post what you find. And then you can do like the pros and cons, just like you did for screencasting, you can do the pros and cons for app development. What else? Everybody clear what we need to do? Okay? And those that need to see me and ask me questions, I'll be happy to spend time with you. My evenings are for you, as much as you need. Okay? Thank you. So stay with me.